Pat, when you talk about regret and how if you had been in New York, if you had taken the canoe to the Mediterranean, whatever the opportunity was, why didn't that happen? And did you almost get urged in some ways by Dwyane's side to stay away and kind of let things play out the way they did?
We've always operated on the premise of a single voice, not mine, but Mickey, myself, Nick, Andy, Eric, Eric Woolworth, Mike McCullough. I mean, one single voice. I mean, there's two entities here. When it comes to basketball operations, we've always talked about the one voice, which is a philosophy and a plan, and moving on down the line that we all that's what we are and that's what we believe in. And so there was one voice in this negotiation. There are some times that Andy, handles an agent and a player, and Andy complete the deal. There are times that I've done most of them, and complete the deal. There are times when you have a long-standing relationship with a player, like Dwyane or Udonis, or even at the time I remember with Alonzo, that sometimes the owner gets involved in it. But we all speak with one voice. We all know what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. And so, the thing that happens during the course of negotiations, over the course of 7 or 8 days, has to do a lot with your thought process as to what the conditions were prior to that. And the conditions prior to that over the last year or two have always sort of pointed in the direction that, we as an organization didn't do enough, for Dwyane. And I've always been one who was always reaching to get him another guy, especially after LJ left, and trying to find a way to get him another guy to help him not only win, but to help him win in a way that he would be very proud when he moved on out and retired. And so it wasn't just getting another guy for him, it was to maximize our ability to win. And the only way we can do that is to have cooperation, is to the same kind of collaborative cooperation they had in 2010, and how that whole thing came together. And I don't think it's a coincidence that if you go back to those 4 years, where every single player came in because they wanted to be here, and they were the ones that they were giving it back, that we went to the finals 4 times and we won 2 world championships, and then it changed. In the summer of 2014, the whole thing got turned over. And sometimes, the carnage that is left out there, you got to try to pick up the pieces, but at the same time fill in the holes to be competitive. Getting Lou Dang, getting McRoberts, and at that time, and trying to forge forward. But so what my thoughts were always to try to make the team better, and also at the same time to try to make sure that Dwyane, over the course of the 3, 4, 5 years that he had left in his career, that he was going to get his money, that he would get it, but not at the expense of paralyzing our ability to win, and which I think would have hurt him. So if there's anything that I could have done better, as I said, I would have done it. But right now, there's no do-overs in this thing, and I wish him the best. It's been a sad week for both Chris and I. We love him dearly, and Gabby and the family, and just there's nothing you can say about it. I've always said that one of the only things you can count on in life that's permanent, it's one of my favorite sayings, is change. And when change raises its beautiful or ugly face, you got to deal with it, and you got to adapt and move on. We've been here before, and so I do. I wish him nothing but the best, and nothing but great health, and and I do think we sort of gathered ourselves a little bit at the end, and during this process, while we were negotiating with his agents, we were talking to all of these other players, and the possibility that if something were to happen, that we could be able to move quickly. During that time, from July 1st to the 3rd, there were only 2 players. I think there were only 2 players that we felt that if we knew this was going to happen, that we sort of regretted that they went off the board. But that's the game that you play when it's free agency.